Hello everyone, this is Vesper and today I'm going to share with you what I've learned from Street Fighter V Survival Mode and what tips can help you succeed. As you guys know, Survivor Mode can be very time consuming, so it's important to do some pre-planning, especially when jumping into the harder modes. First, let's talk about the 4 different survival modes and rewards. Easy mode will have you fight through 10 opponents, but it will only give you one color, which is color 3. Normal mode will have you fight through 30 opponents and give you colors 4, 5, and 6. Hard mode will have you fight through 50 opponents and give you the rest of the colors for your character, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then finally, Hell or Extreme mode will have you fight through 100 opponents and will give you only a title with no colors. Another primary reason to complete Hell mode survival is for the Back to Hell gold trophy. All modes will also reward you with XP and fight money on the first time completion, as long as you are connected online. Most players should be able to breeze through easy and normal modes, but will have problems with hard and especially Hell mode since it can go from 0 to 100 really fast in difficulty, and is also very time consuming. Now keep in mind that all these modes must be completed individually to reap all the rewards. They are not retroactive, so completing hard mode for example will not give the rewards from normal and easy mode as well. This means to complete all survival modes with a single character, to get everything, you must go through at least 190 total fights. To add fuel to the fire, you'll only earn colors for the specific costume you are wearing. So if you have a pre-order costume for Chun-Li for example, you must complete all survival modes except for Hell for her default costume and her battle costume for all 20 colors, which means at least 180 total fights. Now survival mode is based around a score system. After every match you'll be given bonus score depending on your performance. Many factors determine your score, such as life total at the end of the match, so a perfect being the best, speed, so the faster you defeat the CPU the better, getting the first attack, stunning the opponent, combo count and using special attacks, finishing the match with an EX or a critical art gives you a huge bonus as well. The further the stage you're on also raises your score, and finally, completing every 10th stage gives you a huge bonus. An ideal match for high score would be to get the first attack, using your most damaging combos and stunning the opponent, then finish the round with an EX or critical art without taking any damage at all. Your score is very important for the first 10 stages or so. You can use score as a currency to purchase supplements. The 4 most important supplements to pay attention to is health recovery, attack power up, defense power up, and double down, but only for the first few fights. Now what makes this tricky is that the supplements have different ranges of potency that are chosen at random after each fight. So for example, health recovery can sometimes give you the option of full recovery, which refills your entire life bar. Other times the option will be low recovery, which only refills 20% of your life bar. If you took a large amount of damage one round, it could completely snowball out of control if the game keeps giving you the choice of low health recovery twice in a row. You can only choose one supplement per match, so sometimes the decision is not as easy for surviving the next fight. The 4 possible health recovery choices are low, medium, high, and full, which increase your health from 20% all the way to 100%. For attack power up, there are 3 choices, which increase your damage from 15 to 30 to 45%. Defense up also has 3 choices, going from defense up 1 to 3, with 20% damage reduction all the way to 60% damage reduction. Finally, you have the Double Down supplement that allows you to gamble and reward you a score multiplier after the next fight if you survive. I'll show you guys the 5 possible Double Down choices. Notice that Double Down 5 gives you the hugest multiplier, which is a 10 times score, but is also the hugest risk as it takes away your entire life bar. Basically the next hit and you're dead. Some Double Downs are riskier than others, but of course will not multiply your score as good as the others as well. Now every supplement costs a different amount of score. The higher the version, the more points it will require to purchase, with full health recovery costing as high as 25,000 points. Now the first issue you guys are going to encounter without preparation is not having enough score to purchase a supplement every round. Since most people have problems completing hard and hell mode categories, it is crucial to build as much score as possible in the first 5 to 10 fights before the computer AI gets out of control. So there are 3 main things you can do in survival mode to help yourself. The first one is use the Double Down supplement for fights 1 to 3 and to finish the first 10 fights with an EX or critical art finisher. In the first 10 fights, the computer AI will pretty much just sit there and not block, so you're going to want to take full advantage of this by boosting your score as much as possible, so you do not have to worry about it later. Doing this will give you a high enough score to purchase a supplement after every single fight and save your EX meter for when you really need it. The ideal double down to get is pretty much double down 4, which will only take away your V gauge and EX meter. This is the lowest risk for the increase in score, so I'll usually always take this during the first 10 stages. And if you get really unlucky and you keep getting double down 5, you can just restart because it's right at the beginning. So the second big tip I can give you guys is make smart choices on what supplement you choose after every fight. The point is to be able to survive the next fight. Choosing health recovery after every fight might not always be the best one. If you have about 80% health, I'd say, it might be wiser to choose an attack power or defense up. Now usually most people will choose attack power up when they have high health to finish the next fight faster. Also guys, keep in mind that attack power up raises the amount of stun you inflict on your opponent, making it easier to dizzy them. I feel that usually after the first 30 fights it is more beneficial to choose the defense up supplement over the power up one, especially if you're an average player who can do decent damage in your combos. Usually the way people lose this is by taking stray hits from the CPU while constantly trying to break their defense. These hits can really add up. Having defense up 3, which reduces your damage you take by 60%, can give you a huge advantage, especially with high health. I would say that even with 70% health, it would be technically better to choose defense 3 over a low health refill, for example. So make sure to put into account all your choices. Now the third big tip I can give you guys is to turn on fight request for both ranked and casual matches with the battle confirmation set to ask. Now I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of a cheesy trick. If you find a match while playing survival, the game will tick down a short clock for you to confirm to play them. If you feel like you're about to lose the match or you did poorly and lost too much health or something, you can pause the game and play your online match, and then afterwards, the game will bring you back to survival on the match you left off with the amount of health you started out with in the first place, giving you basically a second chance. Now I'm not joking guys, this literally saved my life against Zangief on stage 70. I was in midair from a fatal SPD when the match confirmation popped up just in time and saved me from certain death. I would have lost over an hour of my time and had to start all over again if this didn't pop up. Sometimes even if I take too much damage, I'll just jump backwards and go full defensive, hoping for the online notice to pop up to give me a chance of doing it again. Make sure you have both casual and ranked enabled to give you the highest chance of finding a match, as well as the battle confirmation set to ask, so of course if you need to use it or not. Alright, so now let's talk about some gameplay. First off, remember you're playing against the CPU. You can't play it like you're playing another opponent. The CPU will either block or not block, and won't fall for mix-ups or tick throws. Sometimes the CPU will be brain dead and just stand there and not block anything, while another time they'll just block everything you throw at them and anti-air you every time you jump in. The most consistent way of defeating the CPU is to be as aggressive as possible, mostly by starting off with knocking them down and then pushing them to the corner with your strongest combos. The CPU is also weak to jump in and cross up attacks, so make sure you use your favorite jump in or cross up combo with your character. And don't worry about doing unsafe combos, as the CPU doesn't act like an actual player and punishes you every time for it. Remember, the CPU is unfair. If you try to zone them by throwing fireballs, for example, the CPU will just jump over it at perfect timing and punish you. You basically have to smother the CPU with attacks and do not give it a chance to breathe. It knows what you are pressing at all times. It is a CPU. If you try to play honest, it will know when you're about to throw them, it will know when you're blocking, and it will overhead you when you're crouching, for example. It will always know the best answer if you just sit there. Now after knocking down the CPU, either jump straight up right beside them when they're knocked on the ground, or cross them up when they're about to stand up. That way they have no time to move. Also, if they block, keep the pressure on with attacks and then attempt to jump in on them again. If you space out your attacks, the CPU will often try to attack you in the middle of it and end up getting counter hit. Also remember to save your meter for finishing off the CPU, and don't just waste it by throwing random EX moves recklessly. Now if you get nervous on the higher stages, don't forget you can just pause the game and take a break and come back. You don't want to ever drop your combo on the CPU, since any hit from the CPU can snowball completely out of control on the higher stages. Okay, so if you're a below average player and you cannot do even simple combos, there's a cheap trick you can do with pretty much any character with invincible reversal, such as Ryu or Ken's Shoryuken special. Most players have found success using Ken's medium punch strength Shoryuken special over and over again. I mean just spamming it. The CPU does not usually punish these attacks, and when it does, it's usually small damage, it's not even a combo. You use the medium strength version because it has a startup invincibility, meaning it will go through any attack the CPU throws at you. If you're someone who just wants the gold trophy achievement, for example, or the title, I would recommend getting Ken's medium punch shuriken down 100% and spamming that thing through all 100 fights. I'm not even joking. There is still luck to this, but it's pretty much the easiest method discovered so far. There are also certain characters I find much more difficult to fight against. For me personally, I feel that Laura, Bison, Dalsum, and even Birdie are usually more difficult to beat. When against Laura, be careful not to jump in blindly, as she usually always anti-airs you with her special attack. It's really annoying. You'll want to knock her down first before crossing her up, and make sure your cross-ups are deep, and make sure you're doing it as she's about to get up so she doesn't have time to do her anti-air attack. Now Bison is usually super aggressive and will do long damaging combos on you. You're going to want to start crossing him up as soon as possible. He'll usually use his crouching hard punch as an anti-air, but it's going to miss you if you cross him up. So keep the pressure on him and make sure that he can't move. Dalsum is another anti-air happy CPU that will hit you constantly with straight hits. You're going to want to treat this like the Laura matchup. Dalsum also uses his V-trigger more than other opponents and can put you into a super bad situation really fast. You're going to make sure you have as high health as possible going into this fight, so pay attention when you do fight him. Now Birdie does high damage and he has high health, and he usually will anti-air you, but it's not as damaging because it's crouching medium punch. Keep the pressure on him, and if you don't, he's going to start using his unblockable grabs on you, which can make things scary really fast, so you don't want to hang back on him. Keep in mind that you'll always fight the same character for each stage. So for example, stage 46 you'll always fight Laura, and on stage 47 you'll always fight Dalsum. You can check the video description below for the entire list of characters for each stage. After stage 30, the CP will start to get more aggressive and block more of your attacks. After stage 50, things start to really heat up, and you're going to find yourself relying on high health recovery supplements almost every match. Finally guys, keep in mind that there will always be luck involved. Sometimes the CP will simply just block everything you throw at them and counter all your attacks. There's nothing you can do about it, but just try again later and just try not to break your controller. So don't forget guys, especially when you're doing hard mode or hell mode, you're going to want to get as high a score as possible in that very first match. So here's me starting hell mode here, and then I'm starting off, and then like I said, my first objective is to get first attack, try to dizzy the opponent, try not to get hit once, and finish with an EX move for like the highest possible score I can get. So right off the bat, like I said, you jump in on the CPU and you get in on that. Do a cross-up combos constantly, and you just smother them and you don't let them attack you. And if they block, you just do a normal block string and you just jump in them on again. So I got a perfect and I got my EX finish for like the highest score I could possibly get on the first round. And then I'm going to go straight for the double down because I want to get as high score as possible. And then I get super lucky here, I get double down 4, which is like the lowest risk one. Even if it was double down 5, I'd still go for it because it's just the first stage. If I get hit, whatever, just start all over again. And then after this, you can go for another double down, and then you should be good to go from then on. Just remember to finish with an EX move on the first like 10 matches, and then from then on you can just go from whatever you think is the best choice from there. You should have more than enough score for every single stage, for all 100 stages after that point. So here's me on the final stage. It's always Ryu on the final stage, and I don't even take chances. I just go ham. Like I just DP him down, man. Don't even want to take chances. It's way too scary. Another scary thing too is that if you're online and if you disconnect, you'll just lose your entire progress and you have to start all over again. So you can get mad salty if you get to the high stages here. The clear time says like 37 minutes, but that's BS. It took me like close to 2 hours from like joining online matches and whatever in between. That's just like in-game time. And then you get 2 fight titles, one for doing 100 and then the Back from Hell trophy, and then another fight title for the character that you did it with. I think for Ryu it's Fighter for Life. So I hope you guys have found this video helpful. I know you guys really want to get those colors, you know, to deal with the stupid hell mode. But if you guys have any tips yourselves, any cheesy tricks or anything like that, make sure you guys leave that in the comments below to help others as well. So thanks for watching guys. Peace.